Galaxy S10e, a small flagship smartphone adventure from Samsung, a compelling option for users who preferred a smaller smartphone without compromising on essential features. A flagship-level device without the higher price tag. Released in 2019, this compact powerhouse captured the hearts of smartphone enthusiasts with its pocket-friendly size and impressive performance. But what is it like to use the phone in 2023? Let's find out. The Samsung Galaxy S10e is a smartphone that was released by Samsung in March 2019. It is part of the flagship Galaxy S10 series, which also includes the Galaxy S10 and Galaxy S10 Plus. The E in S10e stands for Essential, indicating that it is a more compact and budget-friendly version of the Galaxy S10 lineup. This name was strange because it hadn't been used before, and it was confusing for users. Moreover, it was not used in another model after that. Galaxy S10e was a one-off mini phone adventure for Samsung, no direct successor. In Samsung's eyes, Galaxy S20 Fan Edition is assumed to be the successor, but in my opinion, this is not exactly the case. Galaxy S20 FE has a much bigger display and size overall. Unfortunately, for one reason or another, the mini flagships were not financially successful enough. Apple managed to get 2 generations with iPhone mini variants, but in the current generation, iPhone 14, there is no mini variant.
For some reason, everything keeps getting bigger.
Oh my god, this thing is crazy. Everything's up here?
And people, they love it.
Look how big trucks have become.
But I'm not the type who thinks bigger is better.
About 2 months ago, it became clear that Galaxy S10 will no longer get software updates. Galaxy S10 models received monthly security updates for the first 3 years, following which they were downgraded to a quarterly security update schedule in April last year. And earlier this year, the Galaxy S10e, S10, and S10 Plus stopped receiving quarterly updates, as well as they reached the end of their support period. For this reason, some people have started to consider whether or not to upgrade their Galaxy S10e phones. Others are considering whether to buy from the second-hand market. But how is the phone holding up 4 years after its debut? Let's check. This is my personal phone and has been for the past several years. Before that, I used a Galaxy A5, which was also a very nice model. I really liked the S10e when I bought it, and I still do. Small and powerful phone is an excellent combination for my needs. Of course, the phone isn't perfect. In the next few minutes, I will talk about the main features of the phone: performance, display, design, camera, battery, software. Under the hood, the S10e is powered by either a Qualcomm Snapdragon 855 or Samsung's own Exynos 9820 processor, depending on the region, the same as its larger siblings. It comes with 6GB or 8GB of memory and options for either 128GB or 256GB of internal storage, which can be expanded further using a microSD card. My phone is with the inferior Exynos chip, 6GB RAM and 128 storage. How is the performance nowadays? Using social media apps, taking photos, using GPS navigation and multitasking in general is fine. But with gaming, differences are starting to be felt. I am not playing a lot of games nowadays because of the battery wear, but sometimes I play Marvel Snap for a few minutes. The experience is laggy sometimes, especially when comparing to newer models. But outside of gaming, everything is okay for now. The Galaxy S10e features a 5.8-inch Full HD plus dynamic AMOLED display with a resolution of 2280 by 1080 pixels. It has a compact form factor compared to its bigger siblings, with minimal bezels and a hole punch cutout at the top right corner of the display for the front camera. The display has the typical Samsung excellent quality. However, the resolution is too high for its sizes. At the very beginning, I changed the resolution to a smaller one because in practice there was no difference to the eye, but it affected the power consumption and battery life. Before, in the phone settings, I could choose exactly what resolution I want, but apparently after several software updates, this option is gone now. I can still set the resolution, but through another menu that doesn't have exact values, so now I don't know what resolution I'm at. The refresh rate of the display is 60 Hz. At the time the phone came out, higher refresh rates on smartphones were a rarity. A few months ago, while I was on vacation abroad, an unpleasant problem appeared with the display. The display colors have changed. They became much paler. And the interesting thing is that it doesn't always happen. At one moment the colors are okay, I lock the phone. Seconds later I unlock it and the colors are washed out. Later they are okay again, and there is no regularity or logic that I have found in the behavior. I have read online that other people have had this problem, so most likely the display is just worn out. Interestingly, I also have the first Galaxy S1 from 2010 and it still works fine with its AMOLED screen. But apparently that's my luck with S10e. I like the design and the form factor of the Galaxy S10e. It's holdable and with lightweight. I can reach all sides with one hand, the edges are not sharp, the phone is comfortable to hold overall. The camera lenses at the back are not huge, wireless charging is possible. The selfie camera is a punch hole, but it's not centered. I like this decision. The display with its thin bezels looks great. The phone has expandable storage via a microSD card and audio jack, which I haven't used for a long time but are still present. Wireless headphones have been cheap for a while now, and they're also more convenient. The side power button acts as a fingerprint reader. The button is very conveniently located to use with your thumb. Under the screen, fingerprint tech is not present. On the other side, there is a separate button for using Samsung's Bixby Assistant. I've never used it, but unfortunately the button can't be set to perform any other functionality. Galaxy S10e has two cameras at the back, a 12 megapixel main lens and a 16 megapixel ultra-wide. While the S10e's camera system is capable and produces vibrant and detailed photos, it doesn't offer the same level of versatility as the triple camera setup found on the bigger S10 and S10 Plus. The S10e lacks a telephoto lens, which means it doesn't have optical zoom capabilities. However, in my personal experience, I have rarely had to use a telephoto lens, or so I think because I don't know what it's like to use it. The telephoto lens needs more space and Galaxy S10e is with limited space available. In terms of picture quality, several years later I'm still completely satisfied. Nowadays, automatic software processing of the photo is playing a big role, and the phone still has a relatively up-to-date level of software. "4K video recording is perfectly adequate still. Who wants and who needs bigger resolution? 8K video? We are still far from mass use." Other special photo and video modes like panorama, slow-mo and hyperlapse are available too. The battery situation of the Galaxy S10e is not good. It was like that from the start. The small size, the flagship performance, excellent build quality and cameras come at a price, and the small battery is the price. Galaxy S10e has a 3100 mAh non-removable battery, which in truth is as much as iPhone 11, but the Apple iOS is much better optimized for the hardware. In mine Galaxy S10e, the battery currently sits at 78% health, which corresponds to around 2344 mAh. For comparison, the volume of the battery in the current Galaxy S23 flagship is 3900. I am charging the phone every day of course, but often 2 times a day. But I also rarely charge above 90% and don't let it drop below 15. In any case, If you plan to buy second-hand, the battery is a very important aspect of the phone's status. Unfortunately, Samsung phones don't have built-in battery wear checker. I am using a third-party app. If I play a YouTube video for 2 hours, the battery drops from 100% to 79%. For the test, I used a 50% brightness of the screen. And, of course, the phone has many installed apps like Facebook, Instagram, Discord, Microsoft Teams, and many more. A real-life everyday scenario. I'm using Samsung's power saving mode, which turns off always on display and limits CPU speed to 70%. I'm using this power saving mode since day one of the purchase of the phone, and I haven't felt any slowness until I installed Marvel Snap Game. But even with the mode off, the game lags. The battery problem can be solved by replacing it with a new one, but this is not guaranteed. I purchased a replacement kit, but the replacement itself is not an easy task, and it is not clear how new the new battery is. If it was produced a few years ago, it was sitting in a warehouse, and this is not good. So I haven't replaced it yet. Maybe in a future video, I will do it and show the results. The Galaxy S10e debuted with Android version 9, and Samsung have provided updates over the years to version 12. The latest Android release overall is 13, but it won't show up for Galaxy S10e. In addition, there will be no more security updates. Earlier this year, the Galaxy S10e, S10 and S10 Plus stopped receiving quarterly updates as well as they reached the end of their support period. Whether it is a problem is up to everyone to decide how they use the phone. I think it's okay and I'm not worried. In the next few years, the phone will be usable. On top of the Android OS, Samsung are using their One UI skin and additional apps. Its design has been known for years, so there is nothing exciting about it. From my experience, I can say that the software is extremely stable, and this is one of the reasons why I don't want to switch to another Android brand. Even Google promises fewer Android updates to their Pixel phones. Overall, several years later, I'm still happy with the Galaxy S10e. Except for the battery and the washed-out display, I don't feel like replacing it with newer smartphone. But even if I want to, I don't know with which phone. Small phones are almost gone. Asus Zenfone 10 is one of the few new small phones, although there are other disadvantages in terms of camera quality and software. In truth, the Galaxy S23 isn't much bigger, so if I want a fast, capable and smallish Galaxy, this is the way.
This is the way.
This is the way. This is the way.